Hello and welcome. Excuse me. You've reached Zaza, the inappropriate quilter. I'm hoping you can all hear me okay. I'm just going to see who's in the chat this morning. There's Michelle's first, as usual. Hi, Michelle. Good morning, Joyty. Morning, Dawn. And Jessica. So there's three of you this morning. We're doing well. I've not been on for a few weeks, so we'll see if anybody else joins us. We've got a couple of easy crafts this morning. No Sew Christmas ornaments. Really cute, really easy. They look far more complicated than they are, but they're really effective hanging on the tree, and they only take 10 or 15 minutes to make. So, oh, good morning. Here's Jim's popped in. I'll be making them this morning, and I've got another one to do if I have time. And Brian's here. Good morning, Brian. So people are joining slowly but surely. As I say, I've not been on for a couple of weeks. This has been a plague house here. We've had the flu, so Norman got it kindly shared, and everybody else got it, which is kind of how these things work, isn't it? Unfortunately, here we were due to get our flu vaccinations the week that Norman got the flu, so that put paid to that. But there's been schools shut, hospital wards shut. It's hit the country really hard, and it seems to be really nasty. Good morning, Twisted Nerves. I don't know your actual name, but I quite like your YouTube handle, Twisted Nerves. So I'm just going to hang off for a little minute and just see if anybody else joins us, so I don't have to start again in a minute or two. But as I say, really easy, no Sew Christmas ornaments. And the weather here is foul. There's a sort of storm hitting, and I've had to put the lights on. It's dark, it's wet, it's windy. It's not the sort of day. Oh, yeah, sorry, Winston, I forgot. See, I've got a brain like a sieve. You were on Deb on Sunday morning, weren't you? Yes. See, I do remember eventually. So hi, Winston. Thanks for joining us. Right, I'm going to make a start, and I'll show you how to do these. They're quick, easy, and as I say, they're quite nice on the tree. They're most effective when you need sort of the thick, crafty paper. If you have one that's two-sided, you need something that's two-sided. And if you don't have two-sided, you need to stick two sides together. That's what I did with this fabric. I'm just going to find it. This paper here was single-sided, so I stuck two pieces together, and I haven't put my microphone on. So I'm hoping that you can hear me. So yeah, this one was single-sided, so I stuck two pieces together to get it, because you need the two sides, because you see both sides of the paper. So this is quite a nice, it's stripy on one side and lights on the other. And I cut these to 3 inches. These are 3-inch squares, and you need 6 of them. So 6 3-inch squares, and it's super easy. You fold them in half, and again, what works best is a non-directional. So I don't know how the stripe will work. Technically, I want the stripe all going in the same direction. We shall see if I manage that or not. It's quite easy. You fold it in half, and you want a good crease, so you want to take your thumbnail along the line, and then you fold it in half the other way. So that you've got like that. And then once you've done that, you fold it point to point. Hi, Misty. Good morning. Welcome. Hi, Linda. Good morning. So once you've done it, folded both ways, that way and that way, then you fold it like that into a triangle. And you want to fold it back the other way, because what you then do is you press down. You've got a little square like that, and I'm going to get a clip to hold these. And you need to make 6 of these. I'm going to look at this one to see which way my stripe went. Yeah. So as I say, quick and easy. The squares are 3 inches, Joyty. Sorry, I thought I'd said that, but you can make them any size, really, because you'll end up with a 1.5 inch. This is a 1.5 inch square. So you maybe wouldn't want to go too much smaller than, you could probably do 2.5 inches, but you wouldn't want to go too much smaller, really, than a 2 inch square. Again, fold both ways and then point to point. But this is quite a good one. If you've got kids that are a sort of semi-reasonable age, not too young, they would quite enjoy doing this. You were getting tea. I've got my tea too. So again, point to point, and you fold that both ways so that it will fold in. And I just clip them together. But it is definitely easier if you've got a multi-directional, something like this. So you're not going to have things upside down. Is better. And you don't want card that's too thick because of all the folds, but you do need something that has got a bit of weight behind it. And this is just one of these craft books you get, you know, places like Hobby Lobby, that's got all the different papers in them. Hold it that way and then pop the 2 sides in. 3, and again fold it in half. Hi Deb, good morning. I'm making no-sew Christmas decorations with cardboard. It's a good one to get the kids to do. Probably, you know, 9, 10, they could do this, no bother. They need to have fairly good skills at folding and being accurate with this. Fold it that way. So this is what we're making this morning for anybody that came in late. Good morning, Carl. So I'm sorry, but Scottish people can't say Carl. It's virtually impossible. There's lots of memes about it. We always end up saying Carol, like the female name, because we roll our R's too much. So for anybody that came in late, as I say, these no-sew Christmas ornaments, and I've got 3 inch squares of a double-sided lightweight cardstock. I'm just folding in half both ways. A bone folder's good for this, or if you've got a hair marker, that works well. And I've got both, but I always end up just using my thumbnail. Good morning, Teapot. I don't know your actual name. And welcome. I don't think I've seen you alive before. So welcome to the chat. And then we fold it diagonally both ways. Always fold it diagonally both ways, because then it makes it easy to pop the sides in and give you a square. We're down to the last one already. So 3-inch square, fold it in half. And in half the opposite way. And give it a good, with your thumb or the back of a blunt knife, a bone folder if you've got one, or a header marker, all work well. And then we're going to fold it diagonally into a triangle. And fold it one, and that's gone squint. I'm just going to trim that off. I think the paper's squint, actually. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. This is a cheap rotary cutter that I've got that I just keep for paper. And then fold it the other way. So when you fold it diagonally, fold it both ways. And then it just pops in like that. So then you have 6 of these, and I'll just check that I do have 6. I didn't miscount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what you do is you glue them together. So it's a quick, easy decoration. And I just use a glue stick for this. And when you're gluing them, make sure that you do glue them all with the opening at the same bit. So that they're all opening on the same side. That's quite important. And just line them up. There we go. The other thing you could make these out of is if you have got the double-sided origami paper. It is easy, Joyty. It's quick, it's easy, and it's effective. It looks much more complicated than it is. You just want to make sure that you get the glue all over your fingers. That's helpful. The good thing about these Elmer's purple ones is you can see where you've put the glue, but also it dries clear. So if you get it somewhere that you don't want it, it's easy. You won't see it afterwards. So that's them all glued together. I'm going to just put the clip on them till that dries. And then, excuse me, I'm going to make a little cover. And you can make it stripe or light bulbs. What would you prefer? I know there's a delay, but I'll wait on you letting me know. I'm just trying to work out which way it should be. I think it should be the stripes on the outside. Brian's saying the light bulbs, Joyty's saying the light bulbs, right? We'll go for light bulbs on the outside. So you want to make sure the stripes are facing you a bit. This is a bit book board, it's called, or grey board, but a bit of a cereal box would do, and it's cut to 1.5 inches square. Cereal packet, cardboard, a thin cardboard box. You don't want corrugated cardboard. So even something like a tissue box or a cereal box, they work great. And what you want to do, I've got these little corner cutters, but if you don't have them, just don't cut level to the corner, because you need to cut the corners off at 45-degree angle. So you want to come down just ideally maybe 1/8 of an inch is what you would cut. I'll show you, I'll pop this on and show you. But really, you can just draw with a ruler. You just want to make sure that you haven't cut right up to the cardboard. You want a little bit of space left, and you'll see the reason for that in a minute. But you just want to cut at a 45-degree angle. So you could just use your ruler. And you want, because I've done, just to give yourself, as I say, 1/8 of an inch or so is more than enough. That's squint. Do it straight. You just need a little bit of space. So you end up with a square and a square. You can all see that. Good morning, Nikki. And then what you do is you fold up. I prefer to fold it onto its edge like that. And I just go around and give them all a good press on their edge, because you want the paper to wrap right round the shape. So see, you've just got probably slightly more than 1/8 of an inch. And then you want to up and over, and I bend it first and then crease it before I glue it, and then I'll go back and glue it. So you've got a side, it goes up the side of the cardboard and then over, and then you pinch just with your nail in those little bits there, and it means that it'll be fully, the cardboard will be fully covered. And then you do the opposite side, and again up and over and crease it. And then stick it down, and then pinch and pinch, and then you do up, over, and stick it. And see, I cut that one a bit short so you can see the cardboard underneath. This one, you can't see the cardboard, see it's like an envelope. So you pinch it. So, and then you fold it up. And fold up. And I'm going to add that to the clip just till the glue dries. And I'll let you see on this next one. We glue the square of cardboard, which is 1.5 inches square. This is slightly less than 3 inches. It was an offcut. Oh no, this one is 3 inches. But it's not quite 3 inches long. You just need a little bit of space all the way around. Doesn't need to be accurate. Hi Lisa, good morning. Good morning, Judy. Sorry I didn't see you come in. Chat's jumped. Now, I think you pronounced Judy's surname Hebert. I'm not sure. I listened to Amber and Jennifer of the Cheeky Quilters, and they can pronounce Judy's name right. So I'm going to cut these corners off at an 45-degree angle. I'll do this one. So probably slightly more than 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to cut off, you see the short mark there on my ruler? I'm going to cut that much overlapping the edge at a 45-degree angle. And again on this one, our 45-degree angle, I'm going to cut just at that mark on the ruler. And the small square's 1.5 inches. It's half of whatever the big square is. So if your big square's 3 inches, your small square will be 1.5. If you do a 4-inch, your little square would be 2 inches. And then we're just going to fold these sides up. Good morning, Diane. Welcome. Thanks for joining. And I'm just bending these sides up with cardboard, and then I'll fold them right over to crease. This paper's probably slightly thicker than I'd really like for this. It's a bit heavier weight. I'm just going to fold the sides over. So you want to opposite sides first. Now that I've folded it and creased it, I'm going to go back and glue it. And then you just take your nail and just pinch the sides in to cover the edge. You want to go down the side of the paper like that. Brenda, good morning, welcome. I'm making these no-sew Christmas decorations. They're quick and they're easy. And I will get a piece of card and show you again what you do. So this is the cover, the outside edge. And I've got to pinch the sides in. And that means you won't see this piece of cardboard. And as I say, a cereal box is good for this. And then when you fold it over, you see you don't have any cardboard showing. And I'm going to just stick this in here to, oh look, I've done, we're going to have opposites. That was clever. So we're having a light bulb and a stripe. Am I clever? Not. Maybe I should quickly cut another square of fabric or paper even. Yeah, take that off. A roughly 3-inch square of, wait a minute. Oh, see this ruler with the 3 inches. 1, 2, 3 inches square. And before you all say anything, this is a rotary cutter. It's a cheap one that I keep just for paper. But scissors work too. So we're having a light bulb on the outside. So stripes on the middle. And for this piece, some glue on this. Stick it in the middle. Oh, Brian's making cookies this year. What are the front runners, Brian, for the cookies that you're making? You've got to cut the corners off. Now I've got a little corner cutter thingy jig, what's it here? But you just want, as I said earlier, that little line on my ruler, that's the amount of space I'm going to, so if you don't have a ruler, you want to cut that at 45-degree angle. And you want that much extra. And that's squint. I want it straight. I think the paper's slightly, stripes on slightly squint. Like that. Now, I'm going to press the sides up Joyty's baking cranberry nut biscotti. Joyty, you know my address. You just send some over the pond here to me. They sound delicious. So we're going to I'm just bending this up to get the folds in place before we get the glue. It's easier if you do it before you glue it, to fold it over. Just crease it with your finger. And as I say, if you've got a header marker or a bone folder, they work great. I just always end up using my nail. I'm going to put a piece of glue on here. Stick that down. And you just pinch the paper in to the sides of the cardboard. Pinch it in. And the same to the opposite side. It's easier if you do opposites. And then this side. I learned how to do these at a paper craft workshop thing last Christmas. As I say, they're quick and easy. And then because you've pinched the sides in, you don't have the board showing. I'm going to clip these together till the glue dries. So for people that have just come in, what you do is you need 6. The size I'm making is 3-inch squares. And I'm just going to manage to get that here. So if your paper, and you need double-sided paper, origami paper works, anything. This is this, you know, the cards you get it in these book, you know, at Hobby Lobby and these kind of places, and you get a pad and it's full of like holiday themed paper. So you need 6 3-inch squares and you fold them in half. And then you fold it in half the opposite way. Like that. And then you fold it on the diagonal. So it's point to point one way. And then on this one, when you fold the diagonal, fold it the other way as well. Good morning, Joe. And then you pop it, fold it in like that. So you end up with this little square that opens at one side. And you need 6 of these. Then you take them and you stick them together. And that's what I've done. I've stuck all 6 together, lining them up. And now I'm going to stick the covers on. And I've got a bit of ribbon. Nearly forgot about that bit, the hanger. This ribbon is, you know, when you buy things and they've got these stupid loops in the shoulders for going on the hanger, something falling off the hanger, I quite often just cut them off because they get on my nerves. So each one of these measures, that's what this is. I cut these off a top yesterday, just under 8 inches. So I'm gonna, and you want these to go on the open end. They go on the open end. I'm just going to put a bit of glue there and stick the ribbon down. You could use tape if you wanted. I usually just glue it on. Same at this side, a bit of glue and stick the ribbon down. So your ribbon's on the open end, not the folded end. And then you glue these little thick cardboard bits that we made. Glue on each of this. Uh-oh. And you stick it on top. And just kind of center it on the board. I'll do the same for this one. I usually keep them in the clip until the glue has dried. But these are great because they're non-directional prints, which do make it easier. But what will happen is you can tie it up like that after Christmas, but to hang it on the tree, you just open it up and tie here. You just tie, you can tie a little knot and then tie another knot. I usually tie a knot here like that, and then just loosely tie a knot at the top. You don't want this knot tight, you just want it holding up, tight enough to hold it closed. But if you didn't want to do the card, you could just use a paper clip to hold them together. So that's your two-sided Christmas ornament. Quite effective. And that was quick and easy. And me doing it slowly so that you can see has taken half an hour. But you could rattle these off much quicker. And they're quite effective hanging up. And you could do smaller ones, you could do bigger ones. Here's one I did earlier because I couldn't remember how to do it. And then after Christmas, you just fold it back up and then tie it that way. So it's like, oh, if you can keep it together long enough to tie it. So it's like a little concertina book. And that stops it getting bashed. Because I did have my Christmas ornaments out to show you and I forgot to bring them up here. So I'll show you them on Saturday night. All my English paper piecing 3D ornaments. My delightful husband just shoved them in a box and shoved stuff on top of them. And they're all squashed. So that's how you can store it, like a little book. Hi, Mona, good morning. So there we go, quick, easy. Yeah, anything. As I say, you want something double-sided. And the other one that I've got that's quick and easy, that's all over Instagram, so I haven't given anybody credit because I didn't know who to credit, but this is real kids craft stuff. Toilet roll, tube, and some fabric. Again, you could use gift paper or cardboard for this, but I've got Christmas fabric that I'm going to use up. And I'm just going to roughly measure how much I need. About there. And it will depend on the size of your cardboard tube how much you need. I cut it, the strip, to the width of the cardboard tube, roughly. And then I just rolled it around the tube to see how much I need, because different toilet roll tubes are different thicknesses. So rather than say you need X amount and it's wrong, just measure around the tube. So all I'm going to do is start gluing the tube. You could probably use double-sided tape for this if you wanted. Again, probably a multi-directional print is better. Just make sure it's going to be straight. Yep, so that your cardboard is all going to be covered. And just add some glue on the way around. And this one's even quicker. What you need to make sure for this one is that you have sort of semi-decent scissors, but not fabric scissors. But as I say, this is all over Instagram at the moment. Some of you have probably seen it. You can use wrapping paper, you can use fabric. I've seen people using napkins, you know, the paper napkins. I'm just throwing the glue stick away. So you cover it like that. Step 1, covering the fabric. You really want for this a multi-directional fabric. I need to get my paper scissors. And I keep a bit of string on these so that I know they're my paper scissors because they're an old pair of sewing scissors and I have a new pair. Now I'm going to squash this flat. So there's the join there. I want to make sure that's in the middle, roughly. And you just squash it. A good press. And you can do these with 3 or 4 pieces of fabric. I do kind of like to line it up and mark it though, because I do kind of go a bit wonky when I cut. I'm just going to use a pencil, give a thin line on the back. Now you want about 1/2 inch increments with this. I've got my first line there, I want 1/2 inch. As I say, there's been different things and nobody's actually given measurements, but looking at them, it was about 1/2 inch. And this is super quick and super easy. So I'm just going to do. In the UK, we'd say this was real Blue Peter stuff because it was a kids' TV show and they always did crafty things in the run up to Christmas to make decorations. And they would say things like, here's one I made earlier. It is quite tough cutting through the cardboard, I'm not going to lie. These are quite thick tubes, toilet roll tubes. And then you want to take a snip out of each end. Now, if you're not sure about cutting, what you can do is you can use the tip of your ruler, turn it on point, but you don't want to snip through the end. You just want to snip a little bit out. So you want to make sure that you leave both edges joined. And you're just cutting a little notch out of each end. This one's going to be pointier. Yeah. So see, like that, you just want a notch out of each end. Now, I've seen some of them done with 3 and some of them done with 4 strips. But you're just cutting a notch out of each end. As I say, I've seen people do this with paper napkins on Instagram. I've seen some of them done with wrapping paper. I've seen some with fabric. There's loads of them. It's all over Instagram at the moment. Well, it is on my algorithm anyway. So I haven't credited anybody because there's loads of them and I didn't know who to sort of say, because I've seen different people doing it every day. So there's the notches out the end. And then all you do is you take one and you need to glue it. So you need to open it up. It's going to be fun. and stick a bit of glue in the middle. I can do one like this. And then I'm going to put the glue on the outside. That would make more sense and be easier. And then the next one goes over the top. Like this. And then you just hang a bit of thread through and you've got these cute little stars. So I have a piece of cord here. Baker's twine. And you just loop that through. This is a great one to get the kids to do if you've got grandkids or children and it's bad weather and they're bored. It's a quick and easy decoration. And it's just a cute little no-sew 5-minute star. There we go. And they look quite effective on the tree. If you need Christmas decorations, if you've got a new tree or a bigger tree or something. Okay, Winston, thanks for joining us. I'll hopefully see you next time. Have a nice day. So yeah, that was like a 5-minute, quick, easy decoration. But that's the paper one. And you saw how easy that was to make. It's not hard. It's quite effective. So yeah, so quick. Hi, Melissa. Quick no-sew Christmas ornaments. I can hear a car. I wonder if that's going to be a delivery or a van. But yeah. But the two-tone is quite nice. Again, you want something more non-directional. This one's not too bad, even though it kind of is directional because it's small, different shapes, so you kind of get away with it. And it's reindeer and snowmen and Christmas cakes and sleds. But yeah, quick, easy. Hi, Giovanna. You've just caught the tail end. But as I say, they're really easy ornaments. They're easy to decorate. You could, if you wanted to tart that up, you could put some buttons on it or something. But they're like a quick 5-minute thing. If you've got a teacher and you've got kids at school, they're a great thing to get. It's a easy, quick thing to get them to make. And it doesn't, I keep dropping that glue stick. I'm going to have purple glue all over the, well, I won't have purple because it'll dry clear, but glue all over the carpet. That's right. Hi, Joyce. Good morning. So that's that's today's quick, easy, no-sew Christmas ornaments. So what's everybody been up to? There's been more snow, I see, in the US. Quite far south, there's been snow. Quite far south in, what's Giovanna saying? You've been having problems this morning, Giovanna. I'm sorry to hear that. Melissa's a better person than me because she's lurking while she does her hair and makeup. As you can see, I spent ages on my hair and makeup this morning. Jim says it's a blustery day again. Yeah, we've got high winds and rain, and I hate when it's wet and windy. And my laptop's just died. So I don't know if you can still see me. There, you can hear me again. I did the same thing again. Went to use my phone, and of course the microphone is attached to my phone. One day I will learn not to do these stupid things when I panic. Right, good morning, Donna. So can you hope, hi Sheila, good morning. I'm hoping you can hear me and see me again now. Hi, Paranormal Walks. You can hear me now, yeah. I disconnected my phone, which is what the microphone's connected to. I do it all the time, it's stupid. I panicked when my laptop switched off because I wasn't sure if that had ended the live stream or not. When these things happen. Good morning, Donna Dixon. But thanks for letting me know that you could hear me, Nikki. That you could see me but not hear me. I was trying to put a message in the chat, and of course I disconnected the live stream instead of using my iPad to post a comment, which I've just seen I could have done. So yeah, we're having horrible weather here. There's a storm. I think the West Coast is getting the worst of it. We're not too bad here, but it's wet and windy, and I hate wet and windy weather. I think because that makes my hair go all tuggy, but I've got really fine hair, and I hate it. I've always hated it since I was a kid, and I think that's why. So yeah, that was today's quick, easy. If you've just come in, Christmas, no soul Christmas decorations. If you go back to the beginning of the live stream, you'll see how to make them. And this one, I just did 5 minutes at the end. Just a little star. You could also do that with 4 bits. Would be, I think, nicer. There was both on Instagram, people doing it with 3 and people doing it with 4. But that's easy. Toilet roll tube and a little star for quick no-sew ornaments. And you all saw how easy that was to make. It's a good one to do with the grandkids or kids. Paranormal Walks does have a channel, Joy T. He goes out hunting ghosts. Deb got me watching him. Yes, Sheila, it is a good kids' craft. And that one is easy too. You could do this in 2 minutes being a paper crafter. But it's quite easy, it's quite effective. And you can do them any size. I wouldn't really go any smaller than a 2-inch square though. But that's that. So that's what I did today. Because I've not sewn in a few weeks. Been in the plague house. I've not had anything up my sleeve to be organised or doing. And I was in Edinburgh on Monday with the small angry one, which if she hadn't taken a day off work especially for it, I would have cancelled. But I felt guilty. So we went Christmas shopping and I got a parking ticket. So that was delightful. £100 or it's £50 if you pay it within 14 days. So we'll see if I'm going to try and appeal it just because they can only say no. But 50 quid. Oh. Yes, Deb, you did hook quite a few people for them. Yes, it was a lot, Giovanna. It did not put a pleasant end to the day, I can tell you. But hey ho, these things happen, and technically it was my fault, so we're not paying attention to where I was parking. I won't make that mistake again. I told Evie that money was getting deducted about. Oh, words. I was just going to deduct that money from what I was going to spend on her for Christmas. She was not impressed. But that was a joke. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, parking wardens in Edinburgh are a nightmare. They pounce. So yeah, Joy, it used to be £60 and it was £30 if you paid it within 14 days. And they've upped it. So it's now £100. Giovanna, I've got a disabled badge and I've still got a ticket. That's why I'm going to dispute it, because I thought you could park there with a disabled badge. I've parked there before and the traffic warden said it was fine. In exactly the same spot. So we shall see. It could have just been an overzealous parking warden. But we'll see. They might say no, that the guy that said I could park there the last time was in the wrong. It's one of these things. Anyway, enough about that. It's nearly 2 o'clock and I'm all talked out. Yeah, Nikki, the parking police can ruin your day really quickly. So we'll just have to wait and see. I might get it off with it, I might not. But one of these things. Thank you, Jessica. Jessica says she enjoys my lives on a Wednesday. She's glad I'm back. And I'll be back I'm on Friday night after Deb. I'm on Katie, the Greenland Quilter. I'm live with her on Friday at, I think she goes on at 4:30 Eastern time. I am feeling a lot better, Brian, thank you. And then I'll be on my usual Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I will say tonight at 8 o'clock, you'll get the cheeky quilters, Jennifer and Amber. And they're great, they're funny, and they're really good to watch. Amber does most amazing collage quilts. So if you're not doing anything at 8 p.m. tonight, watch the cheeky quilters. They're good fun. Sheila, I'm 100% better than I was last week. It was like a plague house here. I was going to put a big red cross on the door. But we're all getting better. And that's the main thing. It's just one of these things this time of year. At least it wasn't over Christmas. Because that's when it usually happens, isn't it? Over the Christmas holidays. So yeah, cheeky quilters, watch them tonight at 8 o'clock. And I'll be back on Friday with the Greenland quilter, Katie. And then I'll be doing my usual on Saturday night. And then we'll have some sewing for Saturday night. But I thought these are do different things on a Wednesday, not always sewing. And I'll see y'all then. Take care. Be appropriately inappropriate. Make someone's day today. Make them smile. Have fun, guys. Take care. And I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.